And the title of the song is Live, and it's by Bisakade featuring Pado Rankin. Why you say? Well, so we have to look at the newspapers, and we'll start with the. Okay, we'll start with the Daily Graphic. On the front page of the Daily Graphic, we have collapse of UT Bank, shareholders' fate in the balance. And you have that on your screen. It says Indian also fights interior minister and immigration boards, and we have other stories there as well. Nagrat's raising red flag over policy to license teachers. But let's look at the story. Collapse of UT Bank, shareholders' fate in the balance. It says that the fate of shareholders and investors in the defunct UT Bank hang in the balance because it is not clear what becomes of their investment in those banks. And the story continues that it has now emerged that PwC, that's PricewaterhouseCoopers, the international auditing and accounting firm contracted to dispose of the assets of the bank, will have to first sell all the assets of the banks and settle their creditors before distributing the surplus, if any, to investors and shareholders of the bank. That is one when you're investing in stocks or equities in the stock market. You don't invest, you don't put your eggs in one basket. So you see that the investors will tell you. And you know, we try to do all that on the show, try to make people get educated on how the investments are done, etc. So that's how it is. So you find that, well, we're going to have investors who may lose some money just because their shares in, especially UT, which was listed on the stock exchange, could necessarily not be known or whatever. All right, so those are the issues that we also need to perhaps be talking about a lot more. So we'll see how it goes. But as far as we know, a lot of things will be going. Mama V Osobwaji had shares in UT Bank, so we'll be worried a bit. How are you, Mama V?
I'm alive and well.
Well, thank God for your life. If I didn't
have shares, I guess that would have been transferred to GCB as well.
No, it doesn't happen.
No. Okay, but I don't have shares there.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't have shares there because UT Bank does not exist.
Yes.
There is no UT Bank. There's GCB
no UT
Bank.
Yeah, GCB Bank.
Yeah.
Okay, on the back page of the paper, the Daily Graphic, it has a story. Ensure proper siting of filling stations. Professor Frimpong Boateng. And we know that he is a Minister of Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation, MEST, encouraging regulatory bodies with oversight responsibility over how filling stations are sited in our country to work together to ensure that the proper, well, siting of these facilities are undertaken, so that, you know, sometimes there are complaints about some of the filling stations being located in residential areas close to schools, etc. You've seen any of those facilities before?
Lots of them, but apparently it's normal because if you go elsewhere
around the world,
exactly, that's how it is.
Yeah. You know, some few years ago, that was, I think, about 10 years ago, I was called by, it was then GCAA, now Airports Company. We have GCAA too, and they said that people were encroaching on their land. So I was very ignorant, and one of the excuses they gave was that for the planes to land.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then I traveled. And
then you saw people living with the planes.
The planes, when we're landing, there are skyscrapers around there. I say, what is happening? In Ghana, we don't even have skyscrapers. You know, the skyscrapers around the airport just started coming recently. So I said, look, even in the development, they have sky. Not these ones we have, not these 10 stories. And the sky was. Look, the planes go and land.
You know, I think the fear is that there are solid systems elsewhere. You're talking filling stations, fuel stations, and there are checks.
Well,
you know, the regulatory bodies work. So you can be sure that accidents will be minimized. But down here, do we have those same
But the thing is that citing them in residential areas is not wrong. Only if
it is not.
Only if we undertake what you said we should be doing.
Yeah, so that's I guess for all of us, that's the fear. Let's just acknowledge that the review segment here on our show is brought to you in association with SOS Advance. Let's follow up with the Ghanaian Times newspaper, front page of the Times. For non-execution of projects, 136 roads, we're told, 136 roads contracts abrogated, government to restructure 130 others to meet deadline. That's the banner headline, front page of the Ghanaian Times newspaper this morning. Also, government to revamp NHIS to make it universal. 2 cops face sanctions after failing to arrest 5 escapees. There's also this story here that says armed robber killed, others wounded in gun battle at Belando. 1 suspected armed robber was killed while 2 others sustained gunshot wounds in a gun battle between 4 alleged armed robbers and residents of Belando community in the Tatale Sangoli district of the northern region. Burials for Sierra Leone mudslide victims. Story also here. Nagrat kicks against teacher licensing policy. We brought you a detailed report in our AM News a while back. But this story on government to revamp NHIS to make it universal, a bit of that on page 16 says President Akufo-Addo has pledged to develop the country's healthcare system and make it accessible to even the poorest in the society through an improved NHIS. He said the government has begun the process of clearing the areas of debts that had saddled the smooth operations of the health insurance scheme, a legacy of former President J. Kufuor. So if you want to know, what else he said in revamping the NHIS, you can always grab the paper and read the details. 136 road contracts abrogated. That story right here. Okay, where's the story? Let's see. On page 17. All right, so there we have it. Story says about 136 road contracts awarded by the previous government are to be terminated because of the inability of contractors to execute the projects. A total of 130 other projects have been billed for re-scoping so as to restructure the contract to meet deadlines. The report by the Roads and Highways Project Rationalization Committee recommended. It sanctioned for continuation 281 projects that are at the various stages of completion. The report was presented to the Sector Minister, Mr. Kwesi Amwakwata, in Accra on Wednesday. There's a lot more breakdown in the newspaper. So perhaps you're a contractor. You probably don't know if yours has been abrogated or it's been marked for rescoping. You can check out the details in the paper today. 13-member board of EPA inaugurated. That's also another story. Quickly on the back page of the Ghanaian Times now, JICA launches 40th anniversary celebration. That's the Japan Overseas Cooperation Volunteers. Is an international volunteering arm of the Japan International Cooperation Agency, and it launched its 40th anniversary celebrations in Accra. Happy anniversary to them. Also, NDPC expresses concern about slums in urban centers. Story says the National Development Planning Commission has expressed concern over the number of slums and its dwellers in urban centers. And according to the commission, the increasing number of people residing in slums in the cities of Accra, Tema, Ashaman, Kumasi, Tamale, and Takrady was worrying. So slum dwellers in these cities are estimated as 6,873,480 in 2015. That's the figure in 2015.
We those in Ashama we are. So we are 50 million.
So to all the
50 million.
All the areas that are classified as slum areas in Ghana.
No, that's why Shama we know. I told you that I grew up in Islam.
So based on the annual listen to this. Based on annual increase of 455,000, the commission noted in the 2015 annual progress reports of the Ghana Shared Growth and Development Agenda. Oh, okay, that's more details that they're giving you. So comes with a picture of the Zongo
Development Minister.
Exactly, that's his business.
Yeah, that's his business.
That's why.
That's his business. That reminds me of a phrase. That's his business.
That's his business. Okay. So there are a lot more stories in the Ghanaian Times newspaper when you grab it. Roland?
All right. So let me do the Daily Guide. On the front page of the Daily Guide, we have horror. 3 burned to death. Fish meal kills 4. There's a picture of a fish, though. That didn't really bend. It's on the front page.
I got a WhatsApp message of a fish. Is that the same story that you're reading?
No.
Okay,
I haven't had that message on the WhatsApp, so I wouldn't know. Capital Bank rot exposed. Kenya? And then we have Nana 10's teacher. World Bank projects transform Kumasi. Okay. And then we have other stories. JB Killer's docket for Attorney General. So those are the stories we have. Okay. So just in case you don't know, you want to have a couple of them, a lot more. We have other stories there. This is the center spread news one, not getting the prominence.
Not the kind of sensational stories you're looking for, eh? Or the naked.
Oh please! Oh, you know me, I'm
dramatic.
I'm a decent guy.
I haven't said. There's Majid in the paper.
I don't like.
There's Majid and his wife featured in the paper.
I don't like those. Now he's a pastor. Now let's look at the Daily Dispatch newspaper.
Really?
It could lead to calls for federation. What are we talking about? An expert warning on the new regions. Africa's top 10 internet growing countries.
Ghana is there?
We should be.
Oh no, in the world?
No.
Is it world?
Africa.
Okay.
So Ghana
is number 1.
Ghana is number 0. We are not part of top 10.
Oh, okay. So
I'll be surprised
go through the top 10. Go through it.
But I'm surprised that Africa top 10 internet growing countries, Democratic Republic of Congo, Somalia, Ethiopia, Congo, Liberia, Rwanda, Nigeria, Chad, Algeria, Equatorial Guinea, no Ghana. The way we love internet is growing.
I said growing. Maybe we've grown.
That's it.
Like the way we say developing and developed.
That's it.
But there's Nigeria in there. There's no Kenya.
Shock.
Okay, maybe this is another.
Maybe Omapim.
Maybe this is
Maybe the growth is slow.
Talking about this one coming up. Yeah.
Maybe the growth is slow. Omapim.
You're through?
Yeah.
I've got the Finder newspaper. It's just about the last hardcore newspaper that we'll do, and then we will quickly go online and do myjoyonline.com. Let's do the Finder newspaper. Front page of the Finder right now. Okay, so 44 million Ghana cedis Sada tricycles rots away in a warehouse in Tamale for the past 2 years. That's a lot of years to just sit tricycles around doing nothing, when I guess it could be useful elsewhere. A bit of the story. It says about 2,825 tricycles and 666 motorbikes meant to be sold to residents within the Savannah Accelerated Development Authority zone, and one of the authority's initiatives have been abandoned at a Sada warehouse in Tamale in the northern region for close to 2 years. The motor vehicles, which have been left at the mercy of the weather, were imported by Unique Savannah Limited, formed in 2015. A private company called Unique Designs Limited partnered Sada to form Unique Savannah Limited to buy and sell motorbikes and tricycles under high purchase terms. Story says the 2,825 tricycles locked up in the warehouse for close to 2 years are valued at over 44 million Ghana cedis. As a unit price is at 15,600 Ghana cedis on a 2-year hire purchase. More details in the story. Also, what's story? Okay, yeah. So this is Clen call downplays NPA's lawsuit threats. Anthony Jordan, now HFC Bank's new MD. We know the one that had to exit took up a position, we're told, in Trinidad and Tobago. Media told to tell the success stories of China and Africa, and India businessman petitions Nanado over deportation. That story on page 4 in the paper. But here's another story that caught my eye. IEA suspends module in Bono Ahafo. Story says Youth in Coastal Sanitation module under the Youth Entrepreneurship Agency in the Bono Ahafo region has been suspended, with 86 workers under the module affected. And Michael Osei-Boateng, Bono Ahafo Regional Director of the YEA, disclosed to the Finder that there are no coastal communities in the region, yet there were people working under the Youth in Coastal Sanitation module in 8 districts in the region who were being paid. This led to a suspension to pave way for investigations. Now, wahala. The rest of the story and more breakdown in the paper. Also, explosion kills 3 in Nzima. At least 3 people have been confirmed dead after being bent beyond recognition in an explosion caused by an accident in the Elembele district of the Western region. And the accident occurred at Kikam in Nzima on Wednesday evening around 8:20 p.m. Details of that also in the paper, in the final newspaper. So lots of stories. Roland, we're going online now?
Yeah, and we have all the stories treated now, but I would want to say hi to a good Samaritan who's a policeman, released Derek Okosama, lead producer, from bail yesterday evening or yesterday.
Yeah.
In the night of yesterday.
For real?
Yes. Sergeant Dela Kumado of the Amamfrom police station or police MTTD. We thank you very much. If it was not you, who would have been languishing in remand.
Oh,
in Sawam. Traffic offense.
Oh.
So we thank you.
Was it reckless driving then? Or
it
he
was
didn't
not
do anything wrong?
No, it's just friendly chat. He had friendly chat.
What's his name again?
So, Sergeant Dela Kumado from my Amamfrom police.
Amamfrom. Amamfrom is where exactly?
I think it's close to your areas. You can
no, mine is Amasamai.
Okay, so Amamfrom will be around getting to Weja, those areas.
Okay, that's a call zone.
Sergeant Sergeant Dela Kumado, Amamfrom police.
So let me share an experience.
Thank you very much.
Let me share
if it's not because of you, Derek Okosa wouldn't be here this morning.
An experience this dawn. 3 police officers on motorbike just crossed me this dawn. Amasama in the station.
You were not driving safely, defensively.
No, I mean they just crossed and used the torchlights, like, you know, just stop. And they stopped the taxi and asked the taxi to move. And then I was just standing there. They didn't say anything.
Yeah.
I was honking, asking what's up. Nobody was minding me, so I just moved. What kind of behavior is that in the middle of the road?
Your next phase of life, if you get there, we will die.
Let's read.
Charlie, we all have to get there with you because the way it is going,
some of the messages that you sent
things will be happening
to us. This one says, Mama V, I hope providing license for teachers by this government will not come with number plates. From Paul Borga in Upper East, sending us this text message this morning. Okay, so here's a question that we'll probably find some answers when we go over and do a lot more online review. Says, how many people died in the mudslide tragedy that happened in Sierra Leone? Is it 1,000 or 600? Kojo Ejiri Mills in Asenfo. So we'll get some real solid answers in a bit. But our review segment here on the AM show is brought to you in association with SOS Advance. It's a natural and organic health supplement used for cleaning the blood and boosting the immune system. You can use SOS Advance for the whole family. Babies can use it too, and the elderly in the home can also use it. Doctors and pharmacies across Ghana, please call 0244 439 830. 0244 439-830. Smart Organic Solutions is available here in Accra at Santa Monica Health Shop. It's opposite Golden Tulip Hotel. Relish Health Shop in Osu. Ebenezer Pharmacy also in Osu. Tudon Ventures in Kokomlemle. SOS Advance. Remember that is a natural solution for blood disorders, digestive issues, and skin conditions. They bring us the review segment here on the AM show. We're done with the newspapers. Let's cross over. Let's do myjoyonline.com. And on our page this morning, Oshie resident flee town over renewed chieftaincy clashes, 1 dead. Story says some residents of Oshie say they are living in constant fear after a clash between 2 feuding chieftaincy factions on Thursday led to the death of 1 person. Moving on, a human rights group threatens government with suit over police recklessness. The Youth for Human Rights Africa has said that it will sue government at an international court over alleged police recklessness that has caused a young man. And the story continues if you click on the page. I guess paralyzed. Every citizen, every civilized nation licenses teachers. That's a quote. Nagrats others told. The Innovative Teachers, an organization that champions the interests of Ghanaian teachers, wants opposition to the proposal to license teachers through a professional examination to stop, because every civilized nation licenses teachers. That's one sure way that we can keep them in checks, you know, where every year your license will be renewed, so you know you've got to absolutely do the right thing. Otherwise, you will not get the license to step in the classroom to teach. I kind of support it. There are oppositions and some concerns being raised, though. This is a squeak or a roar. Valerie Sawyer mocks Rawlings. Dr. Valerie Sawyer says she is undeterred by attacks on her after she took on former President Rawlings. We've got to click on this story. Is she speaking again? Or is she writing again? Is this part 2 of what she did the first time? We'll find out in a bit. Otherwise, let's move on and check out the other headlines on the page this morning. Chaliwate Street Art Festival wraps up this weekend. So sound, lights and action. The Chaliwate Festival, which started from August 14, comes to an end this Sunday, August 20, 2017. Max Alagbawa promised to do something for us on the Chaliwate. We'll hold him to it and bring you some real Chaliwate feast here on our show. Okay, GIGS, G-I-G-S, backs humanitarian support for Sierra Leone. Okay, that's the story there on the page. Special prosecutor is coming in October, Roland. President Kufuor has assured of the passage of the Office of the Special Prosecutor Bill when Parliament reconvenes in October. So we'll start the whole conversation again in October.
Is that what the president said?
Changed?
That the person will be in office in October, or that's the thing will be passed. The bill will be passed into law in October. There's a difference between the time that.
Wait, hang on.
If that's
Please,
a law.
can you just go back to the headline before this one?
Before it becomes into law, the president will have to.
Let's do the headline before this one. Okay. President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has assured of the passage of the office.
So we should say that special prosecutor bill passage in October.
It doesn't matter. It's the same thing.
No,
so we'll see if it is passed in October. That's what it is.
Yeah, but the special prosecutor will not be in office. The fact that the law is passed doesn't mean that he will be in office, because once you pass the bill into an act.
But has it said it will be in office?
No, but you said special prosecutor is coming in October. The special prosecutor may not start work in October. That's what I mean.
But if the bill is passed, I mean, we're on the road.
Yeah, but if we're on the road, it's not the same like the person that starts
I beg you. Let's finish off. Yupa. Raped India girl 10 gives birth. This is, a story that's been there. It's been talked about. A 10-year-old rape victim who was denied permission for an abortion by the Indian Supreme Court last month has given birth. We're told now she was raped by somebody close, and then the court said, well, because of the growth of the pregnancy, the stage that it had gotten to, they were not going to allow, for the safety of the young girl, for termination of the pregnancy. So that's the story that's saying that she's given birth now. Can you imagine a 10-year-old giving birth? So this is the story. Former senior policy advisor to former President John Mahama, Dr. Valerie Sawyer, says she's undeterred by attacks on her after she took on former President Rawlings. Dr. Sawyer had criticized Mr. Rawlings, we know, moments after the former president granted an interview to a section of the press in which he asserts Dr. Sawyer is threatened by his integrity. She has shot back, questioning Mr. Rawlings' definition of persons with integrity.
Hey, there's an audio. Okay.
Yeah, in an interview with the Daily Post on Wednesday, soon after former President Rawlings' remarks, Dr. Sawyer said, quotes, Rawlings' position that I am threatened by his integrity to be true, 3 premises must be established. A, that he has integrity. B, that I do not have integrity. And C, that I am intimidated in any form or manner by the integrity he must first have, unquote. And according to her, all 3 premises are false. So Rawlings' claim that she is threatened by his integrity cannot be true. Oh my God. Should I read another quote?
You can continue.
Quotes. But maybe the headlines have not been fair to him. In the voice clip I listened to, he did not say those who lack integrity feel threatened by those of us who have integrity. He said, those who lack integrity feel threatened by those of us who have the influence of integrity, unquote. Charlie, before, what does all of that mean, Roland? And there's the audio of Mr. Rollins. When you go up there, you know, it's a Friday, we can play it. Yeah, let's go up there. Mr. Rollins' tape is right there. Please just scroll, like, let's go up. Can we just go up? That's it. Hot audio. Valerie Sawyer is intimidated by my integrity. We're going to play it so that, you know, we'd see exactly what Mr. Rollins said, if it's the same quote that I just read. That
I just find the whole banter amusing. I find the whole banter amusing, really.
Okay, if we can't play it, let's move on, Roland. Let's do City FM.
Okay, so let's look at City FM online. We have prosecutions of corrupt officials to begin in October, and that's according to the Deputy AG. Good one, good one, good one. One of the promises, at least, perhaps not in manifesto, but on the platforms. SADA chases private firm for 32 million Ghana cedi debts. 3. Indian businessman petitions Nanado of Interior Minister's harassment. And we know the Indian government just donated $1 million for renovation of the Flagstaff House. We don't have to be doing this to their businessmen in Ghana, I suppose. And then we have researchers predicted Ghanaian banking crisis, apparently. All right. And we're told that Pando Assembly to hold emergency meeting over poisonous fish. Food poisoning.
Yeah, this is the picture with the WhatsApp
fish is
message
poison?
that apparently the WhatsApp message that I got. Just give me a second. Just read through. I'll share what I have.
So let's click on that story. Pando Assembly to hold emergency meeting over poisonous fish, if it's possible. Otherwise, we'll go to the Africa page of the BBC. Then we'll be back with this. Can we go to the Africa page of the BBC? Sierra Leone mudslide victims buried. And the search continues for some estimated 600 people still missing following the disaster in the capital of Sierra Leone, Freetown. South Africa border alert for Grace Mugabe. She's already in the country. Okay, well, but the police in that country, though, South Africa, they've been instructed to stop Zimbabwe's first lady, you know, their neighbors too, accused of assault from living in South Africa. Oh, okay. She hasn't left already? I thought she's already in Zimbabwe.
No, she's still in South Africa. Apparently, yes.
Okay.
She's still in South Africa. But this story about Sierra Leone, let's kindly click it. I think the bashing is the fact that we always have to follow on international media to even find details, even though this is happening in West Africa and we're also in West Africa. It's sad. Somebody's asking for details and we have to go to the BBC
the Africa
for
page
details of this story. This is a very important story and it's one that's very close to our hearts here in Ghana because, you know, Sierra Leone is just around the corner. They are part of us as West Africans, and this is something that could happen to any country at all, and we need to support them absolutely. So let's go up. A mass burial for about 300 people killed by a mudslide and flooding has taken place on the outskirts of the capital, Freetown. The president, Ernest Bai Koroma, attended a multi-faith memorial service at the burial site in the city of Waterloo. You know, when they say multi-faith memorial, they're Muslims, they're Christians. So one of the questions was, how are you going to do this? Since you couldn't identify who was Muslim and who was not. But thank God, you know, there was a multi-faith memorial service. About 600 people are still thought to be missing, while more than 400 people are known to have died. But we also know that some of there were body parts that were pulled. You couldn't have possibly identified the body parts. So that's also another thing. I'm not sure they would know exactly how many people have died. It would be an estimation. About 3,000 people are homeless in what is being described as a humanitarian emergency. There's also growing concern about the risk of public health from waterborne diseases. But officials from their health ministry were here in Ghana. There was an interaction yesterday, and they've given all the assurances. They are mindful of that, so they're putting things in place. Okay, so details of that, this Sierra Leone story here. People are angry, reports the BBC's Martin patients from outside Freetown's mortuary. Okay, details of that story is here. So there's somebody who's searching for his missing 12-year-old daughter, along with his sister and her 5 children who were staying with them for the school holidays. So these are the personal stories. A woman is comforted after learning she has lost her son. It's incredible, incredible, incredible. This is, I don't know, Sierra Leone cannot get over one tragedy and then they get into
the EU has pledged 300,000 euros.
And Carlos Martin Ruiz of the European Commission said the money would go to humanitarian organizations to ensure it reached those most in need.
But is that not Neymar's weekly salary?
The Red Cross has won. It is a race against time to find survivors. The search is taking place using diggers and makeshift tools. Flooding is not unusual in Sierra Leone, where unsafe housing and makeshift settlement can be swept away by heavy rains. The rains often hit areas in and around Freetown, an overcrowded coastal city of more than 1 million people. Oh, okay. There you have it. Details of this, Sierra Leone situation. We're also trying to gather some things. I spoke to Ambassador Beho yesterday, who played it on the news. Yes, who also said that we need to quickly mobilize something. It's not like we're absolutely comfortable in Ghana, but this is a nation in need. We need to support them, and so we've got to put some resources together and quickly do that.
Your audio is in?
Yes, my audio. I wanted us to listen to Mr. Rollins. Are you in favor of that?
Why not?
Okay, let's shoot it.
It will take some time to put.
Okay, so let me read some messages whilst we wait for this.
What did she say? Well, she says that the things that you say, you don't bully, you actually buzz, and she feels that you should provide evidence of the corruption that you talk about.
I see. Okay, at the right time, she'll receive the answer.
Because she particularly accused you, she says that every now and then you're coming out talking about anti-corruption, talking about probity and accountability, but during your tenure, you superintended some activities that she felt does not make you necessarily the icon of anti-corruption, and so you should give Ghanaians a break.
I'll tell you what, NDC is at a crossroads between those with integrity and those without. Those who lack it feel threatened by those of us who have the influence of integrity, and that's what's frightening them. None of all these calls against us will hold. I mean, it's false, they know it, but they've got to propagate it, okay? You can come to my office for a better interview.
Sure, we'll do that.
Okay, so that's Mr. Rollins. You want my comments? He spoke as a statesman.
Yeah.
All right. Newspaper and online review segment is brought to you in association with SOS Advance. You want to get in touch with them, just call 0244-439-830. I've got to acknowledge Dangote Motala for sending us a message. We've got loads. Yeah. Well, he says Dangote Motala.
Oh, okay.
Ask him if he's the cement guy.
Yeah, I thought he was the DC.